Hi and welcome to my shop update, or I guess you could say Linn's review of interesting things, or just stuff that's been going on lately, mostly in my shop. In today's video I'm going to cover tiny hand planes, making tool holders, and the concept of making a spy camera with a Raspberry Pi. So I hope you're doing well, and I want to start this episode by saying thanks to my patrons who are supporting us over here at the Darbin Orvar channel. Lately Matt and we have been hard at work and we're mixing some things up a bit. Going from mostly having me be in the videos to basically doubling the output and sharing the work a bit more on camera. And we have lots of cool stuff coming up, which I am really excited about. It's going to be fun. So I want to say thanks to you guys, and if you would like to become a patron and contribute as we move forward, we really appreciate it. Then you can check out the link in the description below. I'm in my little shop, the one that used to be a shed. And I think it is finally time to turn this into more of an actual workshop and less, just editing space, a nice place to hang out in. So one of the first things that I want to do is start building some tool holders to display some of my hand tools on the back wall there. I figured I would redo that wall completely. But I don't want to rush the process. I want to enjoy it and take my time. So I figured I would build one tool holder at a time. So first up, I'm gonna make one for these tools right here. A marking gauge, a bevel gauge, a larger and a smaller tri-square. And look at these. I also want to incorporate these mini brass planes. They look fancy, don't they? Would you believe it if I said that I bought these at Harbor Freight for $12? Not even $12 each, $12 as a set, so $4 each. Crazy, right? I mean, they're small and they're meant for small projects, but that was kind of the appeal to me when I first got them, because I love miniature things. And mostly they've been sitting on my shelf as decorations, but they're real functioning hand planes, and I haven't really played with them that much. So I thought, today is the day when we're gonna check out and see if they're actually any good. Can a $4 hand plane be decent? So they're 3 inches long, and here I have a larger hand plane in the back for comparison. And we have a chisel plane, a scraper plane, and a block plane. The blades are made with carbon steel, they're adjustable, and considering, this is a fully functional hand plane, I think it's all gonna come down to how sharp can we get these blades. Okay, now time to try them out. The blades feel pretty good, I think, nice and sharp. The block plane here I think is quite useful for a variety of tasks. The scraper plane, I'm not sure if I'm gonna use that quite as much. It doesn't seem quite as useful to me. And the chisel plane though, over here, I really like. The design of a chisel plane is where the blade goes all the way. So you can reach areas you wouldn't otherwise reach. You can also butt up against something and do against a side. The one thing though, these planes, they're quite boxy in terms of the design, and the edges are quite sharp, and it actually hurts your hand, especially this little corner right here when you're using it a lot. So I thought, let's take care of that and smoothen that out by using a file. So after some filing, they're a lot nicer to handle. And then I was thinking, while I'm in the midst of doing this, then why not also polish them up a bit and get them nice and shiny. So I got some abrasive compound here and some fine So yeah, don't they look good now? The blades are sharp and it's more comfortable to hold as well. So, I mean, for $4, I really don't think you can beat it. It's a nice little plane. Granted, I'm not going to be using these that much because this is for really small things, but when you need that, it's nice to have. Okay, you know, I was thinking about before how my little shop here, how things don't always quite turn out the way you think they're going to. So here I am by the window, right where the little bench is. And it's kind of funny that before I got to this stage, I had made plans and plans on how I wanted to organize this little shop, where to put the bench, where to put the desk, where to put the hand tools, all of that. Right now, nothing is where I thought it would be. Like this window right here, I realized it's really nice to work on projects right by the window. It makes for nice photographs, it just looks nice, it's comfortable to stand. I can look outside the window, I can look out and see what my kid is doing out there. Previously, I had thought that I was going to put the bench more like here, and initially I was going to put the bench right in the middle of the space here with storage behind there. Well, all of that is turned around. Now I'm starting to think that maybe it's a better idea to put the bench this way. I don't know, I'm still kind of working on that. Now, as I'm thinking about the workbench that I want to build, everything is a little bit different. So that's why I kind of didn't want to rush things, and I'm really glad that I didn't. That shot. Not too bad, right? Well, it was taken with this Raspberry Pi Spy camera module running on a Raspberry Pi Zero W. I picked up the camera module recently, and it's surprisingly functional and useful because it is so small, but it has HD resolution. So I've been playing around with it a bit just to see what you can do with it. It's basically like a little mini spy camera that you could put anywhere. You could hide it somewhere if you wanted to. You could hook it up to a small battery and you could put it at a party, or you can just put it anywhere. And then since it has the Wi-Fi capabilities, you can check the footage out remotely. And the footage is pretty good. I mean, you can clearly see who's in the shot, that kind of thing. But after playing with it, I thought it would be kind of neat to set up a surveillance system outside to see, you know, the delivery trucks coming in and just the general cars driving by as well. Okay, so going down to see if the camera, let's, here we go. Hello, camera. Curious how this is going to look. Okay. Bye, camera. See how it sees me. And I was wondering, how difficult would it be to read and eventually track the license plates using this system as well? I I did run into a couple of issues with keeping it outside. First of all, it overheated in the sun, and the CPU got up to 75 degrees Celsius or 170 degrees Fahrenheit. So basically an oven. And the Raspberry Pi Zero is, you know, way too slow to capture high quality pictures or video. And obviously if you had it outside long term, you need some kind of power source, although I am thinking that you would need to do something with solar panels for that. Also, I'm using this Motion Eye OS software, which enable you to control a bunch of things relating to the camera, but that's also a little bit limiting for this purpose. But the software worked great for general surveillance. So the goal here is to capture the license plate number of a moving car driving by. So I'm curious, what does the shutter speed need to be on the camera in order to achieve that? Because think about it, okay, you have a car moving like what, 17, 18, 20 miles per hour, and then the camera's gonna take a picture, but it just can't take that picture with any setting because you're gonna get a blurry result. So let's do some tests and figure out what the shutter speed should be in order to be able to read the license plate. Okay, so Matt's down there around the street, he's got a camera and he's gonna try a couple of different settings, and I'm gonna be driving by, back and forth, and see what we get. So back in the shop now, I got the picture taken with the camera, and what we're concerned about here again is the shutter speed. It's driving back and forth. These pictures right here are taken with 1/320th shutter speed. So let's, seems like you can quite clearly see the plate here. This is 1/200 seconds. Obviously the quality of the shot is better because the camera has a larger sensor, you can zoom in a lot, but you could really kind of see this without zooming in much. So I would say pretty good setting right there. Now the initial footage taken with the spy camera, the shutter speed was like 1/24th or something. So a big difference from 1/320 or 1/200. So one of the things here is obviously also like when does it start taking picture? Because if you have it motion controlled, it doesn't start taking pictures like right off the bat as it sees it. It takes a moment for it to like recognize that there's a car there. So the positioning of the camera may need to come out like further so that it can see the car quicker and get more pictures like further away as opposed to when it is closer here. So this first setup is about $40. Not too bad, right? But I'm kind of curious, if I had better equipment, like a better camera and stuff, would I be able to accomplish this? So I just got a couple of things in the mail. So this is a better camera. The sensor is the camera in this situation, and better lenses as well. So I'm gonna do some further testing here, and I'll probably end up using a Raspberry Pi 3 or 4 to run the system. Of course, now the system is going to get a lot bigger, it's more power hungry, and it's also more expensive. So basically going from a $40 setup to a $200 setup, which is quite the difference. So it will be interesting to see, you know, how much will you really gain by that, by making these upgrades. And I also need to build some sort of protection. I don't know, maybe like a fake birdhouse or something. So yeah, that's what's been going on here lately in the world of electronics at the Darbin Orvar lab. Kind of interesting, and obviously I'm going to keep you guys updated as to how this continues and what kind of progress can be made. So I think that's about it for this week's shop update. You know, I'm really enjoying this format. I feel like I'm able to include a lot of things which normally I don't. There's usually so much going on around here in terms of testing different things, working on little projects here and there, and often I feel like, that's not really big enough for a main video. Know what I mean? But with this format, I can include like a bunch of different things that I'm finding interesting, so I really enjoy that. So thank you for watching and hanging out with me a bit. And again, if you'd like to become a patron and contribute to the work here, then you can check out the link in the description below. So I hope you're doing well, I hope you're staying safe, and I hope you get to have some fun in your shop, or I don't know, maybe you're dreaming about that shop and hoping to, you know, get started soon. Because I don't think there's nothing quite as much fun as playing around and working on things. Yeah, it is really fun. And that's kind of what I'm hoping to share with these videos. And thank you for watching. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you soon. Bye.